Hey everyone, Crypto Billy here with Billy Goat Tales, and today is another edition of Motivational Mindset. Hey guys, let's talk about financial literacy. So I'm going to give you 5 key steps. And some of these things may sound like, oh, I already know that. Well, if you already know that, are you doing it? Are you taking action? Have you built it into a habit for yourself? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind as we go through. Number 1, you got to have a budget, guys. A T-square, right? At the top, you list your income. Top left, list your income. Top right, list your expenses, right? So you got to list all your income. You got to list all your expenses. You got to grasp the basic understanding of a budget. So you track income against expenses. You have to practice. Now, we all are familiar with Excel. You can use spreadsheets. These tools and these apps really nowadays make it so easy for you to have your budget and track your money and ensure you're spending less than you are taking in. That concept right there, just spend less than you're taking in, you will see that in this day and age with all these apps, all these food services, I'm just going to have them deliver. You get down at the end of a month, you'll spend hundreds of dollars that you didn't even think you were spending. We made it easy with Amazon, right? Click a button, you have it at your door in 2 days. You'll see that you're going to spend more than what you think. So having a budget and using it, building a habit where you actually use it is key. It sounds so basic, but I find that most people just don't do it. You also got to set a goal. You got to set short-term and long-term financial goals into your budget. So you have to say, by the end of this year, I want to be able to save $100 or $1,000 or $10,000 because you have income, you have expenses, so you should be able to save. And if you tie a goal to the budget, once you get all your expenses entered against your income, you should have a goal for it, right? Savings is important, and you got to learn the difference between saving and investing. Those are 2 separate things, and we use them interchangeably all the time, it feels like. But you got to learn the importance of saving for emergencies, have an emergency fund, emergency for large purchases, or savings for your retirement. It's all very important to have a savings plan, a savings account. And we always try to aim, you can Google this, but 3 to 6 months of an emergency fund is very important. So when we say 3 to 6 months, so what is all of your expenses every month? You want to have at least 3 to 6 months of that covered. Another way you can do it is have 3 to 6 months of your income saved up. So before you start spending wildly in crypto, you should have an emergency fund. Like, that is so critical. You don't have disposable income until you have an emergency fund set up with 3 to 6 months of your expenses in there. Investing, on the other hand, of course, you got to just understand the basics of investing. But investing would be after your emergency fund, after your savings, and then investing for the future. So that's stocks, bonds, mutual funds, crypto, things like that. You got to know the difference between savings and investing. It's a big difference. Debt management, you got to understand what debt is and the difference between good debt, that means like a mortgage or student loans. We can get into the whole student loan thing. Trust me, I know a lot about that. But there is some good debt, right? There's some good debt, and then there's, because those help you build wealth over the long term, and then there's bad debt, like high interest rate credit cards. You got to build a strategy for that. Like a good strategy, and this is not financial advice, but if you own your home, but there's a a HELOC or a line of credit available at, say, and this today is January of 2025. If you could get it at 7.98%, well, if you have a credit card that is 25%, 24%, you might want to talk to the bank about using a lower percentage rate, or these introductory offers, 6 months, 0%. These are ways to manage your high credit card interest rate. Now, again, you always want to run all this by a true financial advisor. These are just my opinion and things that I found that have helped me when I was young, and they helped me, and I want to just pass them on. But please always run it by your own financial advisor. Credit management for yourself, knowing your credit report, knowing whether it's Equifax or Experian or any of the big ones, you want to know what your credit report says. Credit Karma is a good one. You want to understand what your credit score is, and you want to keep that managed at all times. So, like in the home building industry, you could get a loan at 640 credit score. So if you're down in the fives, then it's going to be tough, right? You want to be, a great credit score is 800. Anything in the sevens really good. You can probably get anything you want, a car loan in the sevens, but it goes down to, for a home, to about 620, 640, and you'll be able to most likely, of course, they use debt to income ratio on that, but there's other factors beside the credit score. But you want to manage your credit score very carefully. And the last thing I would say is just financial awareness. Keep up with different financial news. Keep up with the changing tax laws. Keep up with tax codes, and talk to your accountant. Talk to your personal financial advisor, and stay up with that, because managing it over a 30-year period is very, very important. And I made a lot of mistakes, and I don't want you to make some mistakes. So anyways, that's a little segment on financial literacy. Hopefully this helps you, and I would ask that you like and subscribe, and Crypto Billy out.